We are expecting delivery numbers from Tesla. That is why Phil is here. And exactly what should we be expecting?
Well, the focus is the Model 3. And we have a chart, a wall that shows how many deliveries have happened with the Model 3 over the last 5 quarters. The expectation is that they will deliver somewhere around 55,100 Model 3s. If they come close to that, I think that we might see a bit of a relief rally,
the
so to speak.
expectation is what?
55.1. So that final bar there is 63,359 in the fourth quarter. Yeah. But remember, in the fourth quarter, there were so many people here in the United States before the expiration of the federal tax credit who moved in and said, well, I want to get this tax credit. And then you didn't have that in the first quarter.
So the expectation is lower, and that's the whisper number, the 63.3?
No, the 63 was the fourth quarter production deliveries. The whisper number, the expectation is 55.1 for the first quarter. And if they come close to that, I think people will say fine, and you get a bit of a relief rally. Also, as you take a look at shares of Tesla, they announced overnight that on April 19th, I think, Good Friday, they're going to be having an autonomous vehicle investor day out at their headquarters. Now, this is interesting because Elon Musk has maintained that they are on the cutting edge, the lead, if you will, when it comes to autonomous vehicles. And so this will be a chance for them to show their technology, to talk about where they're going. Let's see what Wall Street says after going to this meeting. And don't forget, tomorrow, Elon Musk's attorneys are in federal court against the
What should we look for
SEC.
in terms of the court case? Do you think there's going to be a result?
I don't think the judge makes a decision right away. I think a week and a half, 2 weeks.
What do the tea leaf readers say?
There's nobody who has come to a consent. Nobody that I've heard who has said, "Oh, definitely, I think this is what's going to happen." I think they're all over. I think everybody's all over the map in terms of what
Jim Cramer. I think.
Jim
I've been
Cramer.
Listening to him. I've been listening to him, and that's,
he's made
a pretty good argument for
very good
why
argument.
This judge might actually throw the book at him.
Correct. And remember, guys, this is at the end of the day, this is about the agreement that he signed, not living up to the agreement.
Right.
I know they want to say it's about free speech. I think the judge is going to sit there and say, "You signed an agreement."
Right.
Do you think there's been any machinations inside Tesla to prepare for a decision that would go against Elon Musk? Meaning, do you think that there is somebody waiting in the wings?
I don't know if there's somebody waiting in the wings. I think that I don't think they're whistling past the graveyard. I think that the board probably, if you had to, based on people I've talked with, you probably have a contingent of the board who are saying, well, we just can't be, standing here. And if the judge comes down and says, look, Elon Musk can't be CEO, we've got to have at least a
plan,
a rough bluept in terms of what we're going to do. But, at the end of the day, unless the judge...
Is there an internal person that you think that they could name the CEO if they had to?
Yeah, there's somebody.
Obvious name?
Yeah, J.B. Straubel. They could name him CEO on an interim basis. But look, let's call a spade a spade. Elon Musk is still the largest shareholder, and he still will call the shots at that company. So the question becomes, if you're the judge, if you don't want him to be CEO, and you know that he didn't live up to this agreement in your eyes, if you rule against him, how do you make it so that he doesn't have that kind of an influence on the company? Do you want to make it that he doesn't have that kind of an influence on the company?
Did you watch Bob Lutz? You don't watch Bob Lutz.
Yeah, I saw him
yesterday.
Yeah.
What do you think of when is he just a kind of an old line car guy? I mean, I don't want to use the word dinosaur, but does he make any? Should you take his points about Tesla and put how much faith in, like 50%, 70, 20?
No, I'd put more than 50%.
You would.
What Bob said.
He says stuff that's about
some of the stuff he said. Look, I've interviewed him and I know him well, and I like Bob a lot.
He thinks it's going to zero, I think.
Over the years, he has said, look, these guys are going to zero. They're going to be out of business.
This is from a guy, though, that, when guys like him ran the auto companies, they needed a complete bailout, and this guy came along and is making cars that are just the heartthrob of a large part of the population. So is it bitterness? Do you really think it's accurate?
I think some of what he says is accurate. I also think that there is an element of the comments that you hear from Bob and from others in the auto industry. And I don't know if bitterness is the right word, but it comes from this
jealousy, something that they didn't. I mean, GM would have been nice if GM made the sour grapes.
Might be a better way of doing it.
Is that
how come they have all these advantages and we got held to a different standard and we couldn't do
from scratch? They built a car that there's no you would. probably
Right.
say that there's not a GM car that's comparable to the S, right?
I think there is also an element within the auto industry that for the longest time they scoffed at Elon Musk and they scoffed at Tesla and they never wanted to publicly give him his due.
Right.
Even though privately you would talk with the executives and they would say, look, what these guys
Impressive.
are doing is impressive.
Right. Back to autonomous driving, autonomous vehicles. The story that came out yesterday in Fortune, I think it was, or was
Right.
it Forbes,
About the markers.
hacking.
Forbes magazine
It
about
was
Yeah.
Forbes magazine
Stickers,
about
yep.
the stickers and the hacking and being able to very easily fool this autonomous driving vehicle. Tesla put out a statement, but basically said people should be ready to drive at any moment anyway, which just seems a little ridiculous. Is
That's
this a
the
real
standard
promise?
line, not only from Tesla, but in
But
the
the
industry.
entire industry. But
Correct.
that actually makes me wonder about the future of autonomous vehicles and other stuff that Andrew was talking about when he
This
came
is
back
at the
from
heart of
Silicon
why a
Valley.
lot of people say, as much as you are seeing this technology come along, we are so far from this truly taking off, aside from in geofenced areas, whether it's Waymo out in Phoenix, GM Cruise in a certain neighborhood in San Francisco later this year. I think these are at the heart of those questions that are going to have to be answered by regulators.